Okay, great. Okay, so we will call the Public Safety Committee special meeting call to order at 5:31 on May 23rd, 2023. Do we have public comment on agenda items? Nothing further. Any online?
Yeah, sure. I'll make comments. So Cherie, I own my happy place, 252 Main Street. I don't know if I need that. So the local businesses have been working together regarding Somerset Market Fest and have come up with an option for all of us that I think would work well with each of the three businesses that currently hold liquor licenses and or a beer license. In the case of Kennedy's, they would be able to sell liquor on their establishment and their patio or whatever areas are designated per their current licensing. Food as well, so that would stay within their boundaries. And then the empty lot would be used for the Market Fest vendors, whether it's food, crafts, whatever, the farmer's market we are bringing into that. And we're looking to get information if we do need an event rider for insurance, and if we also want to look at being able to carry back and forth between the three places if we've got a bounce house or something and somebody wants to carry across the street, what that might look like. So looking at getting porta potties and
Not shutting the street.
not shutting the street down. Yeah. Anything I missed?
Right now, just that there wouldn't be an additional, like picnic beer license, the street would remain open. We'd have porta potties, food trucks, vendors, music, car show, all go. Yep, I think that hits everything.
Okay. And then this is still being used as a fundraiser as well?
So proceeds, once expenses are covered, and the businesses will then be able to donate back any proceeds that they've made as they see fit. So we're not going to set it up initially because we don't have the 6 months in place for our nonprofit. So until that's in place, each of the businesses are going to be managing that themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who was all involved in this discussion?
All of us right here.
Okay. Okay. Okay, good to know.
So the businesses most impacted by the liquor license.
Sure.
So,
Great. Any other comments? Questions or concerns? And any online? No. Okay. Great. We'll go ahead and close public comment then. And move on to the discussion on possible recommendation of the temporary Class B beer and wine liquors license for the Somerset Food Pantry during Somerset Community Market Fest.
So I think that's not a thing. I had never got an application, but it sounds like they're not applying for
Okay, because they,
that, right?
okay, and you've all discussed it, including Somerset United,
Yes.
and come to consensus? Okay. Well, that's lovely then. I guess we can just move on to the discussion, possible recommendation, request for open containers during Somerset Community Market Fest. And that goes right along with that then, right? So you are each proposing open carry between the establishments on that street, but having the street open? Is that right? Okay. Okay, any thoughts on this?
I'd like to hear your opinion on the matter. I think there's always some inherent risk in open containers and, you know, originally the vision was that the street was gonna be shut down. There's gonna be an insured street through a street use permit. You know, I guess, you know, we don't know if someone's going from venue to venue, if they're gonna be over drinking, or I think that's another responsibility that, you know, is gonna have to be assumed by the bartender. to make a long story short, I think there's inherent risks, but I think it's kind of a policy decision by the village to kind of make, weigh the pros and the cons, and I think the PD can help accommodate that any way possible.
Thank you.
And you guys were okay with that?
Yeah, as long as they're not getting another license. And then rendezvous entities and sportsmen can, if someone wants a cocktail, they can come into our establishment.
And then walk out. Or vice versa. Okay. But you guys are okay with that?
As long as it's okay with the Somerset Police Department, and I think it has to be covered under that rider too, right, the insurance.
So that was something that we think we had discussed further with the insurance company. I guess there was some conversation that maybe the insurance wouldn't be needed if we didn't have the additional license. But if there is some sort of insurance like needed because of the outdoor open carry in that area, I think that's something that we'd have to talk to insurance about and just ask them what's needed and go from there.
It's kind of hard to make that decision, then, right? As far as the,
There, I know like Osceola has their shopping events where women go from shop to shop to shop and they carry their drinks with them on the way. And I think it's just something within the village that I don't know that it's a special rider or a special event at all. It's just, you know, they've opened it up to have it. So I would perceive being like that. And the reason that we were thinking to have it open is if we've got a bounce house that the parents want to go sit on the park bench and watch their kids jumping in the bounce house and stuff on there. First light.
I think previously there was discussion about, you know, maybe a certain mug or a plastic cup or something. I mean, is there a way to get these folks to go plastic ware opposed to walking around with?
Oh, yeah.
glass container?
we all have plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be only plastic to go outside.
Yeah.
that'd be definitely.
Have you guys considered maybe doing wristbands for 21 over for an event like this, or?
We discussed it and the concern would be some kid is able to push his hand together, slide it off, give it to an underage. And so we felt the liability with each place checking IDs before they're distributing any alcohol. We would be able to contain that a lot better and ensure that nobody underage is getting access to alcohol.
Makes sense.
False sense of security.
Mhm.
So what happens when somebody buys a drink at the sportsman's and wants to walk in the rendezvous with the drink?
Well, we can't have carry-ins, so, yeah. So.
But
it would-
outside.
But outside, so I think that would just, we would have to just monitor it at the door. No carry-ins, of course, but carry out is fine, if that makes sense.
What about the patios?
Yes.
You'd be able to carry in technically off the street, the patios?
Well, no,
Or,
when you come in the establishment,
Yeah.
your drink would have to be empty.
gotcha. And then each establishment would fill up that
Yep.
same cup.
Or give them a new plastic cup.
Okay.
So they can come on your patio with an open, with a full drink?
Oh, I see what you mean, no, mm-mm.
But they can get it in your establishment and sit on the patio.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we could put signs on each bar, like explaining that so people understand.
Can you explain the liability you mentioned, with the wristbands? Because in a way, I guess I would feel better with that. If they're outside of a bar, you know, milling around and carrying a drink, I'd like to know that somebody has checked that ID and somebody didn't just hand him the drink. And I understand the wristbands, you know,
So I suppose we could do both, we could do a wristband, but each bar still card. I think the wristband isn't a big deal to do, I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but we could do a wristband, so that if somebody sees them outside, they've gotten a wristband from somewhere. But each bar to, you know, cover themselves is still IDing.
yeah, you're still not gonna serve underage, that's. all it
Right,
is, Yeah.
Right, so it wouldn't be like you have a wristband, we're not gonna card you kind of a situation. So, if anybody else says that.
I think that's a great
I
idea.
think that would be fine by me.
Maybe that'll help alleviate, you know, people going to their car, grabbing a can and walking into the
That's
area as
yeah.
well. That way we
That's a good
know,
point,
at least they've been checked or potentially checked.
yeah. Yeah, we could
That's a good
section it.
idea.
But they're gonna be always just a plastic cup anyway outside, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, you'd be able to tell if somebody.
Plastic or can, I suppose, if they have like a can of beer, but no glass.
So if somebody gets caught without a wristband, they're gonna get arrested?
Question, maybe?
Yeah, maybe just question. ID check, figure out what's going on.
I think if we're approving open containers in the 200 block of Main Street during a set period of time, we can't control whether or not somebody brings a can from their car or not. And if they look under the age of 21, there's some type of reasonable suspicion that allows us to make contact with that person or, you know, to investigate if it's underage drinking or not, that's gonna be on us. But I don't think a wristband isn't a catch-all, be-all, end all.
Would the community group be willing to have volunteers for traffic control, helping people cross the street? You know, helping walk around the community, make sure things are, you know, going okay. Such as, you know, not necessarily first aid, but certainly just watching out for people.
Just like monitoring essentially.
Mhm. You know, if there's problems that crop up, we'd like to catch them right away, I guess, my
Yeah.
thought.
That's
You
fair.
know. And then where would? Okay, I'd appreciate that. I mean, especially crossing the street. If we are keeping the street open and people are going back and forth, you know, at least somebody to keep an eye on that, those couple of crosswalks. I think would help.
And would you agree like to come back next year and revisit this as well? Because it will be a lot different, obviously.
It's a great job.
For sure, yeah, I think the idea was to keep, you know, the plan that we all kind of created today, we could keep that plan
For this,
in place for this year, and then we'd revisit next year, because we wouldn't have to make any guesses, we could know how things went and, you know, go forward in different directions or tweak things as needed.
And then the empty lot next to Sportsman's would be for vendors booths and things like that.
Yeah, vendors, booths, food truck, farmers market type stuff, yeah,
We can fit all that in.
I think so, we've got a grid drawn out that looks like we can.
Okay. And then the parking.
Would be in the parking lot of Rendezvous, potentially the front part of the parking lot.
Okay.
That's what we're looking
Okay, yeah, great. So it's walkability as well. Right past it.
at. And when we get so many vendors, then we can extend into the parking lot by My Happy Place as well, because it's gonna be.
That's the hope, yes.
Okay.
Where do you guys envision parking? Well, this might be beyond the scope of the agenda item. But it might be relevant in terms of traffic control and pedestrian safety. Where do you guys envision parking for this event?
Mostly street parking. You know, there's some spots at the library, but we would like to keep those open as well for the library. They're there until 7. But like most communities that don't have a parking ramp or parking lots, street parking.
Like,
Did you
right,
see the email from Christina about? Okay, yeah, okay.
when we say parking, I mean, even including the spots right in front of in the 200 block of Main Street there.
The street's not gonna be blocked off, so people would be able to park there.
Okay.
And about the 3 spots that are
Right.
available on that block, maybe 4.
And then the lot on Main and Spring. Can we use that for parking?
Over here.
Really?
Yes,
Over here.
yeah,
Yeah,
the village, the empty lot for real houses.
for sure.
Okay, any other thoughts or concerns?
I guess if we do go forth with this, I guess I would personally like to see maybe all of you come back at our next public safety meeting next month. And let us know how things are going and what things might need to change and all that stuff, so we're not waiting a whole year to
Yep.
make those changes or anything like that, because obviously my math is correct, was it 16 Thursdays or something like that?
Yeah.
That you're planning on doing this, so, throughout the year, so I think sooner we address it, the better, so
For sure.
if you're willing to do that, I appreciate it.
I think so.
Perfect. All right, I guess Josh Heck, I would make a recommendation recommendation for open containers during the Somerset Community and Market Fest. Restricted to Main Street. Is that what you're hoping? Yes.
Yeah.
Just
The 200 block.
200 block of Main Street.
Perfect.
And then there was the additional date for Pea Soup Days of Saturday, June 10th, from 9 AM to
Yeah.
9, I think open containers from 9 AM to 6 PM.
I thought it was two.
Well, the Market Fest would go till 2, but we didn't close the open container, this, just right at the same time. Maybe it was 4 o'clock that was written on there,
Because then we're overlapping with Pea Soup Days, right?
correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
And then maybe for Pea Soup Days, you wanna add the 200 block of Spring. Joel, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's what we discussed last week.
So when people are coming out of Sportsman's or whatever, they can,
make their way.
Alright.
So,
Like the 200 block of Main Street and 200 block of Spring Street.
and
For
does
Pea Soup
does that include the 300 block to go down there, Joel? I think, cause it's
I think it's just
all the 200 block.
Well, yeah, actually. It's halfway up the 300 block as well. So,
You wanna start over?
Yeah, am I adding the 300 block in this as well? Cool.
yes,
Okay, all right. I, Josh Heck, would make a recommendation for open containers during the Somerset Community Market Fest in the 200 block of Main Street and Spring Street, and also the 300 block of Spring Street
For Pea Soup.
for Pea Soup Days, yes.
Chris Dubek will second that motion. Any other discussion?
Does that include the rendezvous too? I mean, can they go across the road to the rendezvous or just on that side?
200 block goes on both sides.
Okay.
Was Market Fest, was there time parameters around open containers for that?
Yeah, it's 4 to 10.
4 to 8.
4 to 8 is
Market Fest is 4 to
itself.
8, but they were going to allow the open containers from 4 to 10.
Yeah,
And you stop serving at 8.
well, I suppose the bars and whatnot wouldn't stop serving at 8, but like food trucks and vendors and whatnot will be closing at 8, yes.
So this one.
Yep.
For Market Fest every week, okay.
Should I add that too? I will amend it to, with the addition of 4 PM to 10 PM for Market Fest.
And I would second that amendment. Okay, so do we necessarily need to discuss the discussion, possible recommendation, location? Well, we nailed that down, right? Okay, perfect. Any other concerns?
I have a question.
Sure.
So it would be Pea Soup Days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just Saturday? Did you say?
Saturday,
Just Saturday. And what were the times?
9 AM to 6 PM.
9 to 6. Thank you.
I am quite, sorry, one more quick question. What does the Market Fest charge nonprofits include? Do we have a set schedule for the vendors or anything?
Yeah, so the vendors are $25 if you're like small business, a craft or what have you.
Okay.
Food trucks were 80 and then like the farmers were free.
Okay.
And any of that money would go back into the Somerset United Fund.
So what if the library wanted to have a table? What would they be free as well, or?
I believe that was the discussion, but I don't know that I should speak on it without making sure.
Sure. Okay, great. And then will there be any other portable toilets or anything like that, or are you all okay with?
We're working on a porta potty right now. We would like to have a porta potty in like the corner of the lot, kind of next to like the tattoo shop.
And it would likely just be there all summer long.
Yeah, that was my next question, thanks. Okay, okay, great, and then.
Would you guys be opposed to restricting parking in that 200 block of Main Street? Like you said, there's 3 spots, but I think from a visibility standpoint, it would be safer for pedestrians and folks involved instead of darting between cars. I'm just looking for an opinion.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Would like that.
Not if we go
even if
around Garfield.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can still, they can drive through there, just where they're gonna park, that's the question.
You guys don't hear?
It's, we can even just put up some cones during the event and nobody's gonna mess with that, so you don't have to worry about putting on screens.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
How about you?
No.
Very happy? Okay, well, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Josh, seconds.
All right, discussion. And all in favor? Aye. Okay, passed at 5:52. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you coming in.
What are your thoughts on